Protesters have clashed with police in Lebanon as a new government convened a day after it was formed, ending a 3-month political stalemate. Months of protests against corruption among the political elite led to the resignation of Prime Minister Saad Hariri last October. The new Prime Minister, Hassan Diab, will lead a cabinet of 20 ministers who face the pressing challenge of tackling the country's worst economic crisis in decades. The new government has failed to satisfy protesters who have been demanding change to end state corruption and mismanagement, saying the ministers had been selected by the same ruling elite they blame for Lebanon's problems. The country faces a debt equivalent to more than 150% of GDP, a liquidity crunch that's led to banks restricting access to cash and the Lebanese pound to slump. That's on top of soaring unemployment and inflation. The newly named Finance Minister, Kamel Wazne, says Lebanon's economy will need foreign support to save it.
The President congratulated the ministers, wishing them good luck on their new assignments and pointing out to them the seriousness of the situation that demands we multiply our efforts and work. And he pointed out that the government was formed within a harsh socio-economic situation. And the President said to the ministers that your mission is delicate and you need to earn the trust of the Lebanese.
This government doesn't reflect us. We want a government made of our own. We want the money that was stolen, healthcare, power supply. We want early parliamentary elections.
Well, for more on this, let's go to Kamel Wazne in Beirut. He's a political analyst and former professor of international relations and economics at the City University of New York. Welcome back to Money Talks, Kamel. Now, many people in Lebanon are clearly not convinced by this new government. They accuse them of being handpicked by the ruling political elite. Do they have a right to be concerned here?
Absolutely. They have to be concerned. They have to be skeptical. The previous administration did not deliver, but despite that, we have to give this government a chance, but we have to be watchful over their action, how they can deliberate on their decision, whether they can restore the trust that has been lost, whether they can bring stability to the financial system, whether they can be able to fight corruption. These are a lot of questions that need to be answered, but it's very hard to answer it when you have a lot of people are not convinced this can be done in a short period of time. The street most of the street is not really convinced with the formation of the government at this point. For that, this government has to act very fast, because only action and deeds will restore some legitimacy for this government. Otherwise, you're going to see those demonstrations every day and every corner of the country.
That's right. Now, Lebanon has already been paralysed by 3 months of political stalemate, pretty much, before this new government was formed. And in the meantime, the economic crisis has only been getting worse, as you know. Can you tell us more about just how bad the economic situation is in Lebanon right now?
It's really very bad. We have a debt close to 90 billion. It could be more than, it could be like up to $110 billion. We have, of course, undeclared capital control. We have a high unemployment. Probably this year we'll lose probably 10% of our GDP, and maybe half of the population now, they live on half salary, and I'm sure a lot of them can lose their job. We depend on remittance to come from overseas, those close to 7-8 billion, they come every year, because the banking sector had failed to honor the depositor money. I doubt that anybody will send money from overseas. So we have we have to meet some obligation on the international market with the Euro bond as early as March. We have to do restructuring. So we have to take a bold movement. I'm not sure if this government is ready to make a solid change which is required. We need a real surgery in this economy, real reform, real transparency, new economic system, and a new financial system. For a very long time, Our bank's supposed to be commercial bank, but work and acted as investment bank, and they put a lot of the depositor money in high-risk investment without informing them. And today, most of the Lebanese cannot have access to their money. If they get anything, they get a couple $100 on some people who have deposit of $1 million. Imagine how this economy cannot move if people cannot withdraw their cash, how we can have a business cycle, a growth cycle, which actually bring the economy and revive the economy. This is really the concern in the street. How the financial system, who's going to write the new financial formulation, who can bring trust. And we need a transparency at our Federal Reserve System, which has been really does not give any information about the economic system. And we need a new economic model, which our economic model had show a major failure.
Well, so to interrupt you there,
who's going to lead and who's going to provide this?
Can I just ask you one question before we go? Given that protesters are already distrustful of this new government, are early parliamentary elections the only solution here to satisfy their concerns?
I don't think that will solve the problem. It probably will add more problem because we need action right now. Otherwise, the whole financial system will collapse further, and we probably have more pain economically and financially. What we have to do, act quickly and give real solution and real measurement to restore some of the trust that has been lost.
Okay, Kamel Wazne, thanks as always for your analysis from Beirut.